Knowledge is power. Knowledge puffs up. And sometimes, living in our society, we can have sensory overload, information overload. It's almost as if we're walking into a neighborhood after a tornado has gone through and we're getting ready to clean up, but we really don't know where to start. Where do you begin to clean up? Where do you begin to pick up the pieces? And sometimes you just want to start over and you want to start fresh and you just want to wipe the slate clean, so to speak. You need a breath of fresh air. You want to see things with fresh eyes. And this year I want to try to act like I'm a tribesman in the middle of nowhere, unreached and untouched by civilization and society, and all of a sudden, boom, somebody drops a Bible in my lap that I could read. And I just want to rethink everything. You remember back when Prince was no longer Prince, but he was the artist formerly known as Prince, and he went by this symbol rather than a name. Sometimes I get really sick and tired of labels, and get sick and tired of being pigeonholed and somebody trying to tell me who I am or what I'm like or what I believe, and having people and things dictate how I feel, think, and act and believe, especially in the realm of faith. And I just kind of want to get away from that. Now, naturally, if I'm following the Word and allowing the Word to define itself rather than looking to Spurgeon or Wesley or Randall or the Pope or whoever, Rabbi Nachman, whoever. I'm not saying toss the baby out with the bathwater and just forget all these guys, but sometimes we depend way too much on these thinkers and on these reformers and on these people that we fail to even give the Holy Spirit a chance to speak to us and to move into our hearts and lives, because we think, oh, well, they're educated, they're the greats, they know way more than I do, and I want to sit and learn at their feet. What happened with sitting and learning at the feet of Yeshua? Being so busy, being such a Martha running around, that we fail to just sit at the feet of Yeshua and soak up his teachings. What's the matter with soaking up the red letters and allowing the Tanakh and the Torah to define what Yeshua said in the red letters? He's our rabbi after all. He's our master. We're his students. And naturally, if I'm going to just kind of blank everything out and look at everything with fresh eyes, naturally, my faith is going to look Jewish. It's going to look Hebraic. But I don't want to define myself like that. I don't want to define myself as Protestant, as Christian, as Messianic. I'm content with just calling myself a believer. I'm content with that. And I want to walk to the very best of my ability the way Yeshua walked in a modern day context. And, I'm not saying do away with custom and tradition. It all has its place. And sometimes it can be overbearing and we can give it too much of a place. I want the Word, not only the written Word, but the living Word, to have its place in my heart, in my life, and my mind this year. I want to start out fresh, with fresh mind, with fresh eyes, with a fresh spirit, with a clean slate, just looking at everything fresh and new as I've just woken up or I've just been born again. And that's the way I'm going to approach the scriptures and the Word this year. I'm not going to get tied up in theological arguments or debates or doctrinal diatribes and doctrinal battles one against another, because I don't have time for that. Time is way too short for that. I want to have that deep, personal, intimate relationship with my God through Yeshua the Messiah. And that's the way I'm going to approach the Word and allow the Word to define itself this year. Because like Prince, I'm going to be the believer formerly known as Messianic or Netzari or whatever. If you want to call me that, fine. It's not a big deal. I don't care. But I don't want to be labeled. I don't want to be pigeonholed. I don't want to be defined. I just want to be a believer and a disciple of Yeshua the Messiah. That's it, man. That's it. And that's what I'm going for this year. And naturally, like I said, if I go that way and I study in that vein and in that way, my walk and my faith is naturally going to express itself, and it's going to naturally look Hebraic. It's going to naturally look Israeli. It's going to naturally look Jewish per se. But don't label me. Don't put me in a box. Don't try to define me. This is going to be an awesome year. And I'm not going to let the news dictate to me how I view this year. Oh, there's been mass shootings. Oh, there's been this and that. It's a bad year. Oh, how many celebrities has died? Don't care. Don't care. That's not going to define my year. Love ya. Shalom. Shavua Tov.